Module 13, Lithography Color, Apparatus and Materials. Lithostone, carborundum powder, medium and fine grain, Raphael, litho-writing ink, glass marking pencil, black and color printing inks, French chalk powder, rosin powder, Arabic gum, liquid, litho sponge, acetic acid, nitric acid, litho roller, magnesium carbonate powder. Carefully choose two litho stones. Wash them properly and remove all the dirt from the surface. Sprinkle some carborundum powder or fine sand with few drops of water on one stone and place another stone on it. Lithography is a print-making method originally based on the immiscibility of oil and water. The printing is from a stone, the lithographic limestone or a metal plate with a smooth surface. This technique was invented in 1796 by German author and actor Alois Senefelder as a cheap means to make publishing material of theatre works. Lithography can be used to print text or artwork onto paper or other suitable material. This technique originally used an image drawn with oil, fat, wax onto the smooth surface of the level lithographic limestone plate. The stone was treated with a mixture of acid and gum arabic, etching the portions of the stone that were not protected by the grease-based image. Grind evenly until the old artist drawing is erased. Polish the stone with slate. Take two containers with about half a liter of water in each vessel. When the stone was subsequently moistened, these east areas retained water. An oil-based ink could then be applied and would be repelled by the water, sticking only to the original drawing. The ink would finally be transferred to the blank paper sheet, producing a printed page. This traditional technique is still used in some fine art printmaking applications. In modern lithography, the image is made of a polymer coating applied of a flexible aluminum plate. The image can be printed directly from the plate. The orientation of the image is reversed, or it can be offset by transferring the image onto a flexible sheet, rubber, for printing and publication. Unlike intaglio printings or relief printing techniques, the lithographic printing techniques are employed today mostly in high volume books and magazines, especially when illustrated in color are printed with offset lithography. which has become the most common form of printing technology since the 1960s. The word lithography also denotes photolithography, a microfabrication technique used in the microelectronics industry to make integrated circuit and microelectromechanical systems. In the process of lithography, a chemical is used to create an image, where the positive part of an image is a water, repelling, or hydrophobic substance, such as oil or grease, while the negative image would be water retaining or hydrophilic. When the plate is introduced to a compatible printing ink and water mixture, the ink will adhere to the positive image and the water will clean the negative image. This allows a flat print plate to be used, enabling much longer and more detailed print runs than the older physical methods of print. Add a few drops of acetic acid in one container only. Wash the stone alternating with both the solutions. This process is termed as stone sensitive process. In the older days of lithography, the oil-based image was put on the surface. A solution of gum arabic in water was applied. The gum stick only to the non-oily surface. During printing, water adhered to the gum arabic surfaces and avoided the oily parts, while the oily ink used for printing did the opposite. When printing, the stone is kept wet with water. Naturally, the water is attracted to the layer of gum and salt created by the acid wash. Printing ink based on drying oils such as linseed oil and varnish loaded with pigment is then rolled over the surface. The water repels the greasy ink, but the hydrophobic areas left by the original drawing material accept it. When the hydrophobic image is loaded with ink, the stone and paper are run through a press that applies even pressure over the surface, transferring the ink to the paper and off the stone. Lithography or printing from soft stone largely took the place of engraving in the production of English commercial maps after about 1852. It was a quick, cheap process and had been used to print British Army maps during the Peninsular War. Most of the commercial maps of the second half of the 19th century were lithographed and unattractive, though accurate enough. Most books, indeed all type of high volume text, are now printed using offset lithography. For offset lithography, which depends on photographic processes, flexible aluminum polyester, mailer, or paper printing plates are used instead of stone tablets. After the stone sensitive process, dry the stone carefully. Modern printing plates have a brushed or roughened texture and are covered with a photosensitive emulsion. A photographic negative of the desired image is placed in contact with the emulsion and the plate is exposed to ultraviolet light. After development, the emulsion shows a reverse of the negative image, which is thus a duplicate of the original positive image. The image on the plate emulsion can also be created by direct laser imaging in a CTP, computer to plate, device known as plate setter. The positive image is the emulsion that remains after imaging. Leave the space of 2 inches from all edges on all sides and mark the border of the stone. Begin drawing inside the demarcated areas with the help of glass marking pencil or lithowriting ink, etc. Non-image portions of the emulsion have traditionally been removed by the chemical process, though in recent times plates are available that do not require such processing. The plate is affixed to a cylinder on a printing press. Dampening rollers apply water, which covers the black portions of the plate, but is repelled by the emulsion of the image area. Hydrophobic ink, which is repelled by the water and only adheres to the emulsion of the image area, is then applied by the inking rollers. If this image were transferred directly onto paper, it would create a mirror type image, and the paper would become too wet. Instead, the plate rolls against a cylinder covered with a rubber blanket, which squeezes away the water, picks up the ink, and transfers it to the paper with uniform pressure. The paper passes between the blanket cylinder and a counter pressure or impression cylinder, and the image is transferred to the paper. Because the image is first transferred or offset to the rubber blanket cylinder, this reproduction method is known as offset lithography. Once this drawing is completed, apply rosin powder and French chalk powder on the stone. Microlithography and nanolithography refer specifically to lithographic patterning methods capable of structuring material on a fine scale. Typically, features smaller than 10 micrometers are considered microlithographic, and features smaller than 100 nanometers are considered nanolithographic. Photolithography is one of these methods, often applied to semiconductor manufacturing of microchips. During the first year of 19th century, lithography had only a limited effect on printmaking, mainly because technical difficulties remained to be overcome. Germany was the main center of production in this period. Godefroy Angelman, who moved his press from Mulhouse to Paris in 1816, largely succeeded in resolving the technical problems. And during the 1820s, lithography was adopted by artists such as Delacroix and Géricault. London also became a center, and some of Géricault's prints were in fact produced there. Goya in Bordeaux produced his last series of prints by lithography, the Bulls of Bordeaux of 1828. By the mid century, the initial enthusiasm had somewhat diminished in both countries, although the use of lithography was increasingly favored for commercial applications, which included the prints of Daumier published in newspapers. After half an hour, apply gum arabic liquid on it and leave the stone untouched for 24 hours. Rodolphe Bresdin and Jean-Francois Millet also continued to practice the medium in and Adolf Menzel in Germany. In 1862, the publisher Cadar tried to initiate the portfolio of lithographs by various artists, which was not successful but included several prints by Manet. The revival began during the 1870s, especially in France, with artists such as Odilon Redon, Henri Fantin, Latour, and Degas producing much of their work in this manner. The needs of strictly limited editions to maintain the price had now been realized, and the medium became more accepted. During the 20th century, a group of artists, including Barak, Calder, Chagall, Dufy, Leger, Matisse, Miro, and Picasso, rediscovered the largely undeveloped art form of lithography thanks to the Morlot Studios, also known as Atelier Morlot, a Persian print shop founded in 1852 by the Morlot family. The Atelier Morlot originally specialized in the printing of wallpaper. But it was transformed when the founder's grandson, Fernand Morlot, invited a number of 20th century artists to explore the complexity of fine art printing. Morlot encouraged the painters to work directly on lithographic stones in order to create original artworks that could be executed under the direction of master printers in small editions. Apply washout solution on the stone and remove any black marking or remains of the drawing. The combination of modern artists and master printers resulted in lithographs that were used as posters to promote the artist's work. M.C. Escher is considered a master of lithography, and many of his prints were created using this process. More than other printmaking techniques, printmakers in lithography still largely depend on access to good printers, and the development of the medium has been greatly influenced by when and where these have been established. Now carefully apply clean water to the stone with the help of a lithosponge. Some good early work in color lithography using colored inks was done by Godefroy Engelmann in 1837 and Thomas S. Boyce in 1839, but the method did not come into wide commercial use until 1860. It then became the most popular method of color reproduction for the remainder of the 19th century. These commercial prints were made by preparing a separate stone by hand methods for each color, tint to be used, and printing one color in register over another. Sometimes as many as 30 stones were employed for a single subject. The steam-driven lithographic press was perfected by Hughes and Kimber of England in about 1865. It was introduced onto the United States in 1866. These presses utilized automatic rollers to moisten and ink the stone while the paper was pressed into contact by a revolving cylinder. In 1853, the method known as offset lithography or offset printing was first patented by John Strather of England. The principle was not practically applied until the 1870s when rubber offset rollers were used on flatbed presses for printing on metals. In 1860, the photo transfer process was patented, enabling a photographic image on sensitized paper to be inked and transferred to the printing surface. 6 years later, the first lithographic half-tone screen was used in England. Offset methods for printing on paper were developed in the United States shortly after 1900. Here I am telling about an eminent artist, John Miro. Internationally acclaimed artist John Miro was a Spanish painter, sculptor, printmaker, and ceramicist, born in Barcelona in 1893. Born into the families of goldsmith and a watchmaker, Miro grew up in the Barri Gothic neighborhood of Barcelona. He studied at the Cercle Artists Cercle Artistic de Saint-Luc, and he had his first solo show in 1918 at the Dalmau Gallery, where his work was ridiculed and defaced. Inspired by the Cubist and Surrealist exhibitions from abroad, Miro was drawn towards the arts community that was gathering in Montparnasse and in 1920 moves to Paris, but continued to spend his summers in Catalonia. His work, primarily paintings, have been interpreted as surrealism and a sandbox for the subconscious mind, a recreation of the childlike, and a manifestation of Catalan pride. In numerous interviews dating from 1930s onwards, Miro expressed contempt for conventional painting's methods as a way of supporting bourgeois society, and famously declared an assassination of painting in favor of upsetting the visual elements of establishing painting. Miro initially went to business school as well as art school. He began his working career when he was a teenager as a clerk. Although he abandoned the business world completely for art after suffering a nervous breakdown. His early art was influenced by Vincent van Gogh and Paul Cézanne. The resemblance of Miro's work to that of the intermediate generation of the avant-garde has led scholars to dub this period his Catalan Fauvist period. Now carefully apply coloring with the help of a roller. Note that the first print will be lighter. A few years after Miro's 1918 Barcelona solo exhibition, he settled in Paris, where he finished a number of paintings that he had begun on his parents' summer home and farm in Mont Royal-Kent. One such paintings, the form, showed a transition to a more individual style of painting and certain nationalistic qualities. Ernest Hemingway, who later purchased the piece, compared the artistic accomplishment to James Joyce's Ulysses and described it by saying, "It has in it all that you feel about Spain when you are there, and all that you feel when you are away and cannot go there." No one else has been able to paint these two very opposing things. Miro annually returned to Montreuil and developed a symbolism and nationalism that would stick with him throughout his career. In 1924, Miro joined the Surrealist group. The already symbolic and poetic nature of Miro's work, as well as the dualities and contradictions inherent to it, fit well within the context of dream like automatism espoused by the group. Miro's work rarely dipped into non objectivity, maintaining a symbolic, schematic language. Until the outbreak of the Spanish Civil War, Miro habitually returned to Spain in the summers. Once the war began, he was unable to return home. Miro had previously preferred to stay away from explicitly political commentary in his work. Though a sense of nationalism pervaded his earliest surreal landscapes and head of Catalan peasant, it was not until Spain's Republican government commissioned him to paint the mural, The Reaper, for the Spanish Republican Pavilion at the 1937 Paris exhibition that Miro's work took on a politically charged meaning. Miro created over 250 illustrated books. These were known as livres d'artiste. One such work was published in 1974 at the urging of the widow of the French poet Robert Densons, titled Les Penalités de l'Enfrio, les Nouvelles Hebrides, The Penalties of Hell and the New Hebrides. It was a set of 25 lithographs, 5 in black and the other in colors. In 2016, the book was displayed in John Miro Illustrated Books at the Verobej Museum of Art. One critic said it is an especially powerful set, not only for the rich imagery but also for the story behind the book's creation. The lithographs are long, narrow verticals and while they feature Miro's familiar shapes, there is an unusual emphasis on texture. The critic continued, I was instantly attracted to these four prints, to an emotional lushness that is in contrast with the cool surfaces of so much of Miro's work. Their poignancy is even greater, I think, when you read how they come to be. The artist met and became friends with Desnos, perhaps the most beloved and influential surrealist writer in 1925, and before long they made plans to collaborate on a livered artist. Those plans were put on hold because of the Spanish Civil War and World War II. Desno's bold criticism of the latter led to his imprisonment in Auschwitz, and he died at age 45 shortly after his release in 1945. Nearly 3 decades later, at the suggestions of Denson's widow, Miro set out to illustrate the poet's manuscripts. It was his first work in prose, which was written in Morocco in 1922, but remained unpublished until this Posthumous collaboration. Miro has been a significant influence on late 20th century art. His work has also influenced modern designers, including Paul Rand, and influenced recent painters such as Julian Hatton. Miro died on December 25, 1983, in Palma de Mallorca, Spain. Health and safety precautions. Number 1. Handle the acid drip bottle with care. Do not remove it from the designated area. Wear a face shield for protection and wash hands after handling bottle. Number 2. If acid comes in contact with an eye, there is an eye wash station in the acid etching room. Run the water for 30 seconds to flush the unit. Hold eye open and wash eye for 15 minutes. Any eye injury should be examined by a physician. Number 3. Washing out of the image must occur under the ventilation hood. Number 4. Wear gloves when using solvents to limit contact with the skin. Number 5. Use volatile solvents like denatured alcohol and lacquer thinner sparingly. Number 6. First clean up ink on slabs with razor scraper before using solvent. Take the final registration on litho machine. 7th. Scrap excess ink into residual container. Usable ink can be put back in can. Number 8. Dispose of rags in red safety container. Number 9. To avoid injury, use the proper technique demonstrated by the teacher when moving and carrying lithography stones.